Okay. Hi, Mason. Okay, we just say hello, but
What's up, guys?
I just starting to record right now, and so I am here with this guy. He's very interesting, and I didn't know about him, but I think that he's a hidden pearl of YouTube because his content is very interesting. He talk about many strategies to earn money, but that's not all. I've also have seen that he he follows a lot of people that I follow as well, like Elliot Hall. At least you did in the past, because I've heard you saying breathe deep in your balls today in one of your video, and I said that's Elliot Tools. That's Elliot Tools, I said, and then you said as Elliot Tools said, and so I said okay. And I really enjoyed your mindset. I think it's very good that the internet today is giving us this possibility to speak with people sure. with an open mind, and that's very good.
For sure, man.
And so what are you doing right now?
Yeah, so my background, guys, if you're curious, I'll just kind of give you the short story. Mm-hmm. It might turn long, but so when I first graduated high school around 4 years ago, I'm 22 right now, so I live in the US, and I graduated high school 4 years ago, and I remember just feeling pressured from school and my friends and just society in general. I was like, I'm about to graduate. I have no idea what I want to do with my life. All I knew is I didn't want to work a job, right? And my mom was struggling a bit financially. So at that point, I just made the decision right then and there. As they say, it usually just takes a decision. I just made the decision and said, you know what? I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start an online business. So I got into the e-commerce space. I started a Shopify store. Built the entire thing out, started reading books like Think and Grow Rich and whatnot, and listening to like motivational speeches on YouTube, and really just trying to pump myself up. So then I started going through this course, and I started making a little bit of money, and that's when it became real for me. I'll never forget the feeling of when I made my first sale online, which is absolutely insane. I was like, holy shit. I didn't have to leave to go to a job or anything. I just made money sitting in my living room. So that was crazy for me. That changed the game. And ultimately, long story short, that business I closed down because I wasn't passionate about it. I was selling bathroom vanities, So, so from there, I started networking with people online. I met this kid on Instagram named Lucas Johnson, and he lived in Florida at the time. So I was living in New Hampshire. If you guys aren't familiar with where New Hampshire is in the US, it's just near Boston. Everyone knows where Boston is. So I was living pretty much up near Boston, and it was tough for me during that time because all my friends were in college and I'm here trying to build my business. And I remember just feeling like a complete outcast, feeling like I didn't belong almost. Like I would go visit my friends on the weekends, at their college and like party a little bit. I remember just always being asked like, oh, Mason, where do you go to school? And I would feel so ashamed, like saying, oh, I'm not in school. I'm trying to build my business, because no one understood it. Like my own family even today doesn't understand what I do.
I totally understand what you mean. I really love what you're saying, really, really, because it's the first time that I listen somebody saying the exact words that I would say. That's amazing. I love it. Please carry on.
Yeah, so I would like hang out with friends. I just remember feeling super alone. So that's why I started networking on Instagram, just following other entrepreneurs. And there's this kid, Lucas, he was traveling Europe, crushing with his e-commerce store. I think he was doing like $1,000 a day in profit, which that's nice money, right? So
yeah,
he was like living my dream life. So I started contacting this kid, DMing him on Instagram, just kind of asking him questions about drop shipping and just asking for advice. He wasn't like super famous or anything. He didn't have like a verification badge or anything. Mm-hmm. Just like some random kid, right? But I was like, he's living the life I want. So I was hitting him up. We kind of became buddies. We started playing video games together and whatnot. And he actually lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in Tampa, in Florida. And I was like, dude, I'll do whatever it takes if I can move in with you, because I'm so sick of living up here where none of my friends support me. My family has no idea what the hell I'm doing. I want to be around other young entrepreneurs just to feel more motivated, not feel so freaking alone. So somehow, some way, I ended up convincing him to let me move in with him. So he flew up to New Hampshire and we drove down in my car to Florida. And that's when my whole entire world changed. So I was like 19 years old at this time. Like I said, I had my first e-com store, but I had sold it at this point. I said, you know what? I just had that mentality, and I still do, that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get to where I want to be. So from there, me and Lucas lived together. He introduced me to this kid named Devin Zander, who was a huge online marketer at the time. Like, I'm sure you guys all know Ty Lopez, right? So Devin had done promotions with Ty Lopez. Like, this guy was making tons and tons of money. So I was like, all right, Lucas, you got to introduce me to this guy. So we went and got lunch, and I'll never forget this because I felt so nervous going to that lunch, because I'm like, here I am. I've only made like around $700 from my online store. It's kind of shitty. And I'm going to lunch with some big millionaires, like some big name dudes in the industry. So I was kind of nervous. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I need to do whatever it takes to work with Devin. So after that lunch, it was great. We ate and whatnot. I just got to meet Devin and some of Lucas's friends as well. And at the time, Devin was offering Lucas a job to work at a software company. And Devin's software company, they just make Shopify apps, okay? So still the e-commerce space. So Lucas didn't want that job, but here I am. I'm hungry. I don't even have a job at that point, because remember, I left everything in New Hampshire. I just said, I'm going all in. And it's actually funny because I was like selling DirecTV at Walmart. I literally worked at that job for 2 days, but I set in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to work with Devin. I quit that job without even having any guarantee of working with Devin. Quit that job, messaged Devin the next day saying, hey man, I know you're trying to hire Lucas, but I'd love the position if it's still open. And then I started working with Devin, and then things just kept getting better, man. At that point, because now, Devin, he owns a software company. It's all online. So it's literally just me and him in the office every single day. So now I have a mentor who, he's paying me. He was paying me like dirt pay, but I didn't care because I was learning so much. And that just opened up, again, a whole entire new world for me. Devin's connections, him teaching me everything. And then from there, I worked for him for a bit, and then we actually ended up becoming business partners. So this is when shit got crazy for me. Excuse my cussing. That's just
No. For me, it's totally okay.
I'm just thinking like, damn, I probably shouldn't cuss, but I'm just being myself,
In Sardinia, I am famous for that. I live in Sardinia, in Italy, and everyone always tell me, please stop. Oh, there are the children. Oh, really, I cannot. Yeah, I love your story. I love your story, and the fact that you burnt your boat and your boats when you were 19. That's not everyone do that when they are 19.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So where are we in the story? So I'm working with Devin, and he was like, hey dude, let's start a company together. We'll move out to Austin, Texas, because that's a huge like tech startup place. Like, we'll move out to Austin, Texas. We'll get an office. Let's do it. And again, I'm going all in. I'm like willing to do whatever it takes. I know Devin has the right skill set to build the foundation of the business. So it was me, Devin, and then our buddy David. We all became business partners, and we formed Entrecom, which is a done-for-you store design service for e-commerce. So we were just building Shopify stores for people, essentially.
Great.
So we moved to Texas, and I'll never forget this when we first started selling store design. So Devin, he has a software company, right? That makes Shopify apps. So he already has an entire customer base. He has all the emails, the leads, and everything. So I remember, we had assigned roles. Devin was going to do the paid advertising. David was kind of like the manager, like the CEO, managing everything day to day. And then I was doing all the sales. And I'd never done sales calls in my life. So I remember the first call, I'll never forget that feeling. It's still that same feeling of like when I made my first sale with my e-com store, when I closed my first deal for like, I think we sold store design for like $200 the first time, like nothing, right? But I was like, damn, we can really do something with this because Devin has this entire customer base. So From there, we started selling it for $500, and we went up to $1,000. And this is when shit started getting crazy. Like, this was my first actual successful online business, because I was doing sales calls every day, and then we started hiring virtual employees overseas to help with the store design and graphic designers and this whole mess. And I was doing the sales calls and also managing all of the virtual employees. We had like 20 employees at one point. And
yeah, I know that. I was listening to that video, and you were talking about that. About how much you were earning, and the fact that you were actually not putting that all in your pocket, but actually just a small part. And that's the good thing, in my opinion. That's the long-term vision, and it's something that people has to acquire. Me too. I have to improve. Yeah. So at that point, we're selling store design at $1,000 a piece, and we were doing well. Yeah, like you said in my video, we were doing like 30K months, some months like 40K. And for me, this was just absolutely insane, right? Because prior to this, I only made like $700 with my e-com store, and then I was just working for Devin, still working a job. So I was like, holy crap, like this is getting real quick. But what's interesting is once I reached that point of like seeing that much money coming in, it shifted something like spiritually for me, where I was like, okay, I still don't feel fulfilled. I started getting a big ego, thinking that I was like way better than everyone. And I honestly ended up like pretty depressed in Texas. I'm not going to lie. So if you guys are like watching this and like thinking that money's the end all be all, it's definitely not. Of course, chase the money to get out of your current situation if it's just unbearable, but always keep in mind that you want to like love what you do, because you won't get burnt out. And that's exactly what happened to me. I started getting burnt out in me, Devin, and David, we weren't really working that well together. I would sit at home doing all the sales calls. Devin and David would like go to the office and do whatever. And the partnership started getting a little bit rocky at this point. So Devin was getting depressed too, because he missed his family in Florida. So he decided to move back to Florida. And I was like, well, I'm not going to stay here, dude. Like, you're my business partner. So I decided to go back to Florida. Okay. Right. And the plan was in Florida that we were going to get an office, and instead of having virtual employees, we were going to have physical employees. So how old am I at this point? Just turned 21 at this point. So, and it was the strangest thing for me to have physical employees and be their boss, because I got some kid who's like 25. I got a guy who's like 43, a woman who's like 50 something. And it was just weird for me being this 21-year-old kid, like walking in, like probably wearing a shirt like this, because that's perfect.
That's just my style, man. Right? I'm not like, hey guys, we need to wear like super business formal stuff to the office. I'm like, wear sweatpants, let's have a blast. I'd like play music and stuff. But so that was happening. And the partnership with me, Devin, and David just kind of got more and more rocky at this point, because we're kind of just butting heads. I felt super undervalued, because you got to keep in mind, Devin is like 28. My buddy Dave's almost 30. And I'm the young one. I'm the young buck, right? And I'm just doing all the dirty work essentially, because I don't feel like I had their respect yet, because they'd done stuff. You know, I'm brand new, just getting my feet wet. So I'm doing the dirty work, like the sales calls, you know, managing employees and whatnot. And we had a plan to be so Devin's software company was actually going to acquire Entrecom, so that way we could utilize all of Smart Apps' assets, right?
When people doesn't give you respect, that's very bad. And when that happens to me, usually I react. I used to react in a very bad way and just start to scream at them.
Yeah.
But then in the last period, I just changed my strategy. Maybe that I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but what I do right now is just say, listen, for this time it's okay. Don't speak me for 1 week. Really, for 1 week, you don't exist in my world. But the next time, finish. I am not going to, if they do something very bad, for sure. And in this case, this was very bad. Of course, I don't know all the situation. Maybe you said it was getting rocky, and I believe that, because I was working with 2 guys as well 2 years ago, and we made a lot of money. It was in the cryptocurrency space. We were investing in ICOs. We take all the good ones, and and then it changed. I don't know, and it changed everything, because also right now cryptocurrencies are not paying so much as they used to do. But that's another story. I just wanted to say that I understand your point, and
yeah, definitely, man. It gets crazy. I also want to let you guys know at this point. So, although we were doing well financially, when we made the move from Austin to Florida, back to Florida, we actually stopped selling store design. It was a transition phase, right? We're getting new employees, like we're getting acquired by a software company. So we stopped selling. So me and my buddy Dave, who are the two partners, right? We got me, Devin, Dave. We're pretty broke at this point, honestly. And I remember I was living out of Airbnbs. I wasn't living luxurious, I should say, at all. I actually stayed at on Devin's couch for a few weeks, actually, while we had employees, because all the money we're making, we're paying our employees and reinvesting it. So that was tough too. So fast forward to where I was at, things get rocky with me, Devin, and David. Ultimately, the company just collapses pretty much. Right. And I buy Devin shares, I buy Dave shares, and I come on as the sole CEO, sole owner. And I'm like, shit, I have no idea what to do. So really? This was probably my hardest point for me, man. At this point, we had I think we had 10 clients all paying us $5,000. So we were selling store design at $5,000 at this point. So we had made $50K within 4 days or 5 days, which was the most money I've ever generated in that short amount of time span. So I'm like, holy crap. But what's weird is after Devin and David left the company, all of those clients refunded at the same time. I have no idea why. So here's the issue, right? So we're paying employees. Our overhead is $12,000 a month. And we had them for 3 months. I had to refund all of our clients to the point where I couldn't even afford to refund one of them because the business bank account would have gone negative. So at this point, it's me. I thought I got a good deal because Devin sold me his shares for $1. I thought it was a good deal, but I got screwed. All of the customers refunded. Ultimately, the business was seconds away from going bankrupt. I didn't have much personal money at this time either, and I was stressed the hell out. I was staying in an Airbnb at this time too. Luckily,
meaning that you were sleeping in some Airbnb.
Yeah, I was staying in an Airbnb. I didn't have an apartment like I do now. But yeah, it was, oh my God, man. It was the most stress I've ever experienced because I was like, shit, I have no source of income. I owe all this money to this client, and how can I pay him? Luckily, I sold another client for $5K and had a little bit of breathing room, and I was living cheaply below my means. But that was just intense, man. And that was again, soul crushing for me because I thought that this was it. I saw us making 30, 40K a month. We're getting an office. I was like, this is it. I'm actually becoming a legitimate entrepreneur, have a successful company. But not even just for the money fact, but it was just hurt to lose a friend because Devin was one of my best friends, and then David as well. And so I brought a new partner on. We started growing Entrecom. It was a really interesting experience being a leader.
So this is the lowest part, and then you found a way to grow up again as an entrepreneur. At least I'm not saying to the same level, but you are young as fuck. Really, you are young as fuck. So I am 28, and I am very young, and you are still younger, so even younger. Yeah, it was crazy, man, because I went from being super undervalued from my business partners, and they always called me the kid, to now I'm the sole CEO. Now I got to prove to myself that I can do this myself without business partners. So I brought a new business partner on who's my age. His name's Austin. He's actually still one of my best friends. Brought him on board. We got a store designer, and I just made everything super minimal. No more 20 virtual assistants or anything. It was me, my business partner, Austin, and we had one physical employee who would do all the client management for us. And then I had some contractors who did graphic design work and whatnot. But that was that. And I reached a point where I was living in a nice apartment. I was making decent money, and I just felt complacent. And I know you felt me almost going bankrupt was the worst part, but this is when I started actually
getting depressed because I thought that I thought I had everything I wanted, right? I still don't have my Lamborghini, which I want, but I know that's not going to give me ultimate fulfillment. So at this point, like, I'm making decent money. I don't have to work a job. I literally barely work at all, honestly. Like, all I was doing for my company was the sales calls, and then I have my employee who just does everything. Like, I would literally just maybe spend an hour a day on a sales call. And this is when things started getting bad because I was getting bored. I didn't feel fulfilled. Our clients weren't getting the best results, so I felt like just kind of like I had no purpose. And I started like dabbling in, drinking a lot, doing Adderall, like smoking weed. And this is stuff that like entrepreneurs never really talk about, but like depression started sitting in hard. I didn't know where to go from there because I was like, I could grow this company, but is it going to make me any more happy? So I just stayed stagnant. And it was weird. So fast forward to present day. I know this has kind of been a long story, but what ended up happening is, like, since I wasn't doing much work and I had my business partner and our employee, they were like hustling their ass off, and we all lived in the same apartment together. We would just work together all day. They kind of noticed that I was dropping off, wasn't as passionate. I was being a horrible leader. I wouldn't tell them what to do. I was like getting lost in drugs, alcohol, partying, girls as well, like anything to just fill this like emptiness I felt. And it was difficult, man. Like, depression's a whole different thing that we can talk about. But yeah, so essentially my team noticed, like, Mason's kind of falling off, and I wanted them to still grow. So what happened is my business partner started up his own business and started doing well. And then my employee, I wanted him to do well as also. So he started his own business, and it was like nice for me to see my friends like start their own thing. But at the same time, I'm like, shit, like, this is my source of income, but I know that I'm holding them back right now because I'm just like lost. Okay. I need to do some soul searching. So I ultimately winded down Entrecom, like, rest in peace to Entrecom. It was a crazy, crazy journey. But yeah, Austin, he's no longer my business partner. He runs his own company. It's super successful e-commerce store. He does like 100K a month, like, kid crushes it. My old employee, Victor, who's my friend, he's not doing so well right now, but I wish him the best. And then where I'm at now, just to kind of sum up the story, is I moved out of that apartment. I live on my own now, and I really just kind of been focusing on me and what I actually want to do, because I've been in positions where, like, I was making money and I've like chased different things, man, like a bunch of different things that I thought was going to be like ultimate fulfillment, but it wasn't. Like, I traveled Europe, like spent a bunch of money, started hooking up with random girls, like everything that I thought would like be it, right? So I was like, screw this. I'm going to get my own apartment. It's just going to be me alone with my own thoughts. I'm going to do some soul searching and figure out what the hell I actually want. And one question. Yeah.
When this soul searching period has started? Because I've seen your videos, and more or less I remember the dates of your videos. And so I think it started 6 to 8 months ago maybe. And you are still doing this kind of research within yourself?
Yeah, man, I would say, like, I don't think it ever stops. Like,
yeah, sure.
I think I've been soul searching like since I even graduated high school. But I just wanted to live alone so I could like figure out what the hell I want, not what society wants, not what I think my friends would think I look cool having, none of that. Just what the hell do I actually want? Because this is my one life. And I need to figure it out. So one thing I realized is, of course, I have all this knowledge with online marketing. I know how to sell all over the phone. I know how to do all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I'm not going to go back to a job. I want to start a business. But what do I actually love? Let me put my heart into this one. So something I've always loved is just people and interacting with people. I love networking. As you can tell by my story, networking was literally the key to my success. If I never met Lucas, none of that ever would have happened, because I wouldn't have met Devin. I wouldn't have become his business partner. None of that, right?
Yeah, but you built it. You built every step of that was. I've listened to one video, and you say that people say to you, "Yeah, but you had the right situation," and you say that's not true. And actually, that's not fucking true, because all your story is about you pursuing what you want to achieve. You first when you have seen the possibility, you have gone there, right there, to hit the goal, to hit what you wanted. Like when what was David that was offered the job at the beginning with the Tay Lopez partner, and you called or sent a message, I don't know, but you did it, and that's amazing at 19, because I had the same kind of mindset that you had, but I was courage, but in a different way. I was totally not. I didn't have the entrepreneur mindset, but I had the traveler mindset. That was what I based my first years of my 20s, and I made tons of experience from that. And right now, I really want to learn from people like you, because really I listen to your videos and I was amazed with the strategies and the little tricks that you were teaching to people, and I think that you have to do that. You have to do more videos if you want my opinion, because they are quality videos. Even when you are speaking about soul, about how to find yourself, about fear, about I really, really understand everything that you say, and there is people like me around, I am sure. That's why I'm making this podcast right now with you. And they are waiting for not only for people that can teach them, but also for people to understand that there is people like them, because that's important.
Right. Right, 100%, man, 100%. And thank you for that, because I feel like I should start up videos again. But yeah, man, I think the craziest part for me, and for anyone watching this, I kind of like, if you guys get anything from this interview, it's really just believing yourself is the biggest thing, because I believed in myself, and I'm a huge believer in the law of attraction. Like, as you can tell my story, like when I first graduated high school, I was like, I'm going to be a successful online business owner. And you can even go on my YouTube channel and you can see me living in my mom's basement in like 2017, because I think that's the date. It was only 2 years ago that I moved out of my mom's house, which is crazy. And you can literally watch this on my channel right now. It's a video of me in my basement, my mom's basement, when I was still running my first e-commerce store, saying that, just talking about how I don't let my external reality affect what I have set internally. So I set a belief, like I'm a successful business owner, and I don't let anyone affect that belief. It's like rock solid confidence in myself, right?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy, because ever since I like programmed that into my subconscious, that's when the whole doors of opportunity opened, and like I met Lucas and then Devin and blah, blah, blah. But a common excuse I hear from people is like, oh, Mason, how are you able to network with people like Devin or like big YouTubers or anything? You have no following on YouTube. I have like 200 YouTube subscribers. I only have like 1,000 Instagram followers. I hadn't made much money at this time when I met Devin. And like, keep in mind, guys, Devin sells one of the best e-commerce courses out there, right? They have like 10,000 students. So there are people out there that are probably like cut off their left hand to be able to work with Devin in a one-on-one scenario, right? But this is kind of tying into what my new business is now. And I was just thinking about this, like ruminating on it. I was like, what made me different from like the thousands of other people that wanted to work with Devin? And I've also worked with different YouTubers that have decided to work with me, despite the fact that I have no following. And I realize it's because me personally, not to toot my own horn, I just feel like I'm really good at genuinely connecting with people, especially in person. I can do it online as well. But I think when I met Devin, he just saw something in me that just created an actual deep, real friendship, just not based on business. And I feel like that's something that I can teach people, is how to be more genuine. And I like to call it charisma, but it's not really. It's more just like learning how to be socially free and be yourself. Because I know networking is key. So where I'm going on this tangent,
you definitely can teach that to people. I agree.
Yeah, so that's exactly what my new business is. So I teach people how to become, it's called Charisma for Connections. I teach people how to become more charismatic. And so essentially I help online entrepreneurs create a high-level social circle. Okay?
Yeah, I was writing the name of your business. I was just writing the name of your business because I want to give a look about that. And because I really thought the things that you are saying. And it's clear to me that you have this kind of genuinity that honestly I don't have at that level. Maybe I have other qualities, but about the genuinity that you have, I agree about that. And you said that maybe you were getting like, how to say, you. Sometimes when you believe in yourself, you get to a point in which you are it's almost too much, and you are like your attitude towards other people can get, let's say, a little bit bad. And you say that it has happened to you in a moment, but honestly, I think that it's something that, to me, it happens a lot. When I start to very much like the things that I am doing and to believe in myself too much, I start to get to a point in which I almost cut the connection with other people, and that's something I understand I have to work on, because it's very important. So I'll be one of your followers for sure.
Awesome, man. Yeah. That, because like I said, like you already heard my story, right? But for me, just that one connection changed everything for me. And like going from none of my friends supporting me when I was living in New Hampshire and like feeling super lonely and feeling like I was an outcast, to where I am now, where I live in Florida. I only hang out with entrepreneurs. Like all my friends are entrepreneurs. We talk business and we just shoot the shit and have fun. And we also just help each other, right? Like Austin's amazing at Facebook ads. He helps me with Facebook ads, and Devin's super good at copywriting. And it's just so nice to have this social circle where we can like go out and talk business. And I just feel like I belong. And I also recently joined a private mastermind as well that's hosted on over where Austin lives. And that's been super beneficial. So ultimately what I just want to help people do is exactly what I did. I want to help entrepreneurs who are like feeling like they're stuck in their hometown. They're trying to start their business. All of their friends, all they do is like party, and they don't actually, believe in online business. They think it's like a scam or whatever. Yeah, I want to help people who are like stuck in that spot, create a social circle of entrepreneurs that support them and that they can leverage to grow their business. Okay. So it's really interesting because I've been doing competition research, seeing like who teaches like social circle. And there are coaches out there for social circle, but it's mainly based around picking up women. So it's like, here's how you can get a high level.
Who you're talking about.
Yeah, they're like teaching you how to get a high level social circle so you can go to private events and like be around hot girls. But I'm doing something similar, but it's more like how to have a high level social circle to benefit your business, not benefit like your member below your waist,
That's good, because I think that in both cases good, actually. I think that they have a very good business, those guys.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. For sure. I've personally invested in pickup courses too. I'm a course junkie. I always buy courses.
Yeah, I've seen that. You say that many times, and that's amazing, because I did it a lot less than you. But yeah, I understand. You have this kind of mindset since when you were 19 or maybe before. And for me, like it was like the idea of life and the freedom, and that's still actually what I love. So it's not like I can say, oh, now I want to become like Mason, because that's not the truth. I like what you're teaching, and I think I have something to learn from you. But I still think, and I am saying this to the people that is listening right now, because we have to do what we love, and sometimes we get too much. We start because your ideas are amazing. What you shared in your videos is amazing, and something very good that we can try. We can to see if we like that. But if I am a person that wants to travel, I have to do that. I mean, to find a way to do that. I cannot, let's say, stay in my own apartment, and that's not the kind of life that I have to do. There are certain things that I'll surely carry on watching the videos that I still didn't have seen from you, and I hope that you will make more and more, because really, I said at the beginning that, to me, in my opinion, you are a hidden pearl that has a lot of things to teach to the people, and it's crazy that you have just 200 followers on YouTube. It's crazy, because it's quality things. And there is people that makes videos that I don't like as much as yours, and they have so many followers. But your followers are quality followers because they comment on your videos. I mean, this is something meaningful. What do you need? Thousand and thousand and thousand of people that doesn't care about what you're saying? They care about, and really, and it's normal because you create a connection, as you said at the beginning. And so, yeah, I perfectly agree with that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. Yeah, I would just say I completely understand what you're saying. Like you just want to travel and whatnot. Everyone has different goals, so I definitely respect that. I'm just saying in terms of like, and for anyone watching this too, just guys, be super aware who you hang out with and who you spend most of your time with, because you will start acting like them and you'll adopt their habits, right? So just be aware, and that's why like definitely pay attention to who your friends are, who's in your social circle. And if you're an entrepreneur and your friends don't support you right now being an entrepreneur, and they're always talking bad about you, like saying, oh, you can't do that, it's not realistic, you need to find some new friends right away.
Really, really. You are totally right. I have so many friends. Actually, they are not, I love them, I like them, but I cannot be their friends anymore because they are going in the night to play video games and they are going to do that and that. They go to the gym, but they eat all the shit that they want, and then they want to, when they come to the gym with me, they try to keep up with the amount of weight that I am lifting. But I am going for months right now without stopping. They stop, they come 1 month, they stop the other month, they come back, and they want to do that in 2 days, and that's crazy. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
that's not how it works. And
yeah, definitely not.
And there is another thing that I really want to say, because for me this is very important. And yes, we have to do what we love, but I don't want to be misunderstood, because some people maybe think to do what we love is not like staying in front of Netflix or staying or eating popcorns. That's not to do what we love. To do what we love means to decide what your goal is, and then you have to do all the shit to get there, and that's very uncomfortable. But that's what I think, because some people can misunderstand what to do what we love means. That's not eating pizza. I mean, nothing against pizza, I love it, but if you want the body of your dreams, you cannot eat pizza every night or 2 pizzas every night, for sure.
Yeah, on that note, man, this what I would say is like, this is how you, I guess, if you're struggling to pick like your career path is, I would say find something that you love, something that people need, you know, that solves a problem that like you can serve people, and then something that you're good at. And if you can find something that covers all 3 of those, then you're golden, right? Because you love it, you're helping the world, and you're really good at it. Yeah. So if you can find that perfect combo, then you're golden.
Well said. Really, really well said. And so who are the people that you follow the most on? Because for me, I've always followed only the most famous people like Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, the RSD guys, and I don't know, even others. Maybe right now I don't have all of them, but only the most famous people. And then really, when I started to create this channel and I started to follow people that was as little as me, and I am starting to believe that that you can find pearls around the world, and many people has things to teach you, even if they are not as big. And actually you can find the best there, because if you follow what Tony Robbins said, he's maybe the best, okay, but how many people are going to do that? But if you follow what Mason gives you as an advice to create a well-working Shopify store, in my opinion, that may work much better, because actually that video was amazing. I don't know if you understand which video I am talking about, but it's the one where you explain the three ways of finding the object to buy, and you were using a program, and what was the name?
Commerce Inspector.
Exactly. That you love.
Yeah.
You say that you love it. I don't know if you still use that program.
Well, right now I don't do e-commerce anymore, but
You are not doing any.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah,
right
I got burnt out from that, man.
you think that you have found a better path that can fulfill you much better than that.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going to take me, but all I know is as long as I can interact with people. So I took essentially what I'm doing is taking everything I learned from Pickup, right?
Oh.
And it's very similar to networking with like famous celebrities and millionaires and people who have like kind of big egos because they're super successful. It's very similar to Pickup because the way they're going to react to you is kind of like the way a super beautiful woman would, right? Because she has tons of options of guys coming up to her. She has tons of options, right? So what makes you different? And it's the same thing with these super successful millionaires and internet celebrities because they have so many people coming up to them trying to work with them. What makes you different? And this is, again, going back to what I call charisma is you just need to know how to genuinely connect with them first. Like, for example, I worked with a YouTuber who has like 1.3 million subscribers. And you guys, my channel only has 200 subscribers, right? And this kid had no idea who I was. I just sent him an email and was persistent as hell. Ended up getting his phone number and ended up actually flying out to meet him in person in Texas to work with him. So I really firmly believe that I understand negotiation, understand like people and how to interact with people in a way that benefits your business. So that's why I created Charisma for Connections. So it's going well right now. We'll see where it takes me. It might kind of like adapt into something else. I'm finding myself wanting to help more people who struggle with social anxiety and are really introverted. So it might kind of take more of that route rather than just strictly business. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's essentially.
No. That's really crazy. And actually, I found you were followed by some people that was into the no-fap movement. Have you ever heard about that?
The what movement?
No-fap movement.
Yeah.
You've heard about that?
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about no-fap? I can talk about no-fap.
I mean, if you have ever done that, yes, that would be, because I believe that it gives you a certain kind of confidence because of the dopamine factors and this kind of stuff. I just would like to know what your opinion about that is, and not only about no-fap, I'm sorry, but also about anything that can give you an easy dopamine relief, for example. And what about where actually to put the real effort instead? What do you think about this?
Yeah, man, I was literally just watching a video on this. Like, your brain is always going to take the path of least resistance to get the most dopamine as quickly as possible. I would say good ways to get dopamine releases are meditating, working out. Okay. Just going out, interacting with people. You can always like network and make new business connections. As far as no-fap, here's what I found. Okay. And this is actually what I learned in the Pickup course I went through as well. Is because I've tried, there's a difference between no-fap and semen retention. So semen retention is you just don't come at all. Like no sex, nothing. And I did semen retention for like 2 weeks. I didn't come or anything. And my testosterone increased. I had like more confidence, more energy after like 10 days, but then it just kind of leveled off to normal after that. And I actually found myself not getting, sexually aroused by girls or anything. And it was weird. It felt like I kind of forgot I had a penis or something. So my personal take on it is like definitely do no-fap. But if you're not having sex with at least one girl like a week, then I would say just jerk off once a week. Don't watch porn when you jerk off, because scientifically your testosterone's increased like 7 days after not coming or whatever you want to call it. But after that, it just goes back to regular levels. So 7 days is like the sweet spot, right? So if obviously the ideal scenario is no jerking off at all and you have girls that you have sex with, like that's where I'm at right now. I'm just having sex with one girl. But if that's not an option for you, I would say no porn and just jerk it once a week, because dude, watching porn tricks your brain into thinking that every girl you see in that video your brain is thinking on a primal level that you're actually having sex with them. Yeah. And it's like, it's tricking your primal brain because your primal brain is thinking that you're a freaking king. You're like having sex with tons of women because you're watching all these videos, but you're just lying to yourself, man. And it like ruins your motivation too. So I would say that, and there's actually in a book called Think and Grow Rich, they talk about something called sexual transmutation.
I've read that.
Yeah, hell yeah. So obviously when you come, like the sperm cell, that's life force energy that creates life. That's how you can bring, obviously it's got to fertilize the egg and whatnot. It's not a biology class, but that's life force energy, right? And if you're just jerking off every day and just like coming into a napkin, you're like excreting this life force energy, which is like, it's actually energy inside of you. So that's why I think no-fap is so fucking effective, because if you're not just like releasing this life force energy all the time, it's still inside you. You're more motivated. I find myself way more confident, more aggressive talking to girls. And just, I noticed weird shit happens. Like I went out to the bar last night with a buddy of mine who I met at the mastermind. We just got a drink or two. And this girl approached me, which never happens in a bar. Like usually it's me approaching a girl. And granted, she wasn't the cutest, but like she came and sat down next to me and started trying to game me. And I was like, this is interesting. And in my mind, I'm like, is it because she can, it's almost like you have this aura that they can sense that like, that you like have control over your primal brain, right? Because you're not just trying to like nut because you're doing no-fap. So it's just, they can just sense something, man. So
honestly, I really think that something changed within you. And that's why I am going much further than the 2 weeks that you have been talking about. And I am talking about complete semen retention. But that's just the way I decided to approach life, and to understand if something works, I have to try it. Even if it can hurt me, I have to try, because I am too curious. And if I really, and what I want to do is put out the real content that actually I have tried. I just don't want to go there and say, that's how it works, that's how it, no, I want to try it. And if somebody come to me and ask me, what is no-fap about after so many months, I would like to be able to answer. And one of the guys that I know since he was very, he was still not famous on YouTube, his name was Mikois. I don't know if you know him, Mikkois. And right now he is called Engel, I think. AMG, I think HEL. I think that's something like that. And he went on 8-month no-fap stick. And I think he abstained completely. I don't know for sure because I was not with him all the time, but he went from a couple of hundreds of followers on YouTube to 5,000 a couple of months later. And I've just checked him after 3 years right now, and he is at more than 200,000. And nice. And that's amazing. And what happens when you are on no-fap, in my opinion, is that you start to focus on your dreams and to believe more in your dreams, to have more strength to approach them, and you start to do other things that are healthy. Like right now, I am on a strict regime, on a strict diet. I am training every time. The only thing that I still cannot do, at least the only thing that I can think right now about, is meditation. I still have some problem in doing that, and I think meditation and respiration for me is something that I still have to work on, and that's why I'm going beyond what you said, because I think that to say I cannot do that, I have to try till when I can. So I have to push as much as possible. And honestly, at a certain point, it becomes like routine. And my life is totally different. And I am doing so many things right now. And that's amazing. That's amazing because, I mean, I am not making tons of money like I did in a previous period, for example. But I am achieving the body that I want, and I am doing so many things, and I am becoming more. The thing that happens the most is that you become that you have more courage to take action, to do things. And all of this mix of things that started with no-fap, cold showers, it's developing, growing, and I can handle more and more shit. And that's amazing. I can just end with an activity and that's too much. But let's say that I am much faster when I end an activity to go to the other activity. I am not like a machine still, but that's how I would like to be. At least how I want to be able to be. I also want to be able to be spiritual and to analyze, to be calm, and yes. So definitely, in my opinion, there is something behind all of this, and this area, it's something spiritual but something physical as well. It's something beyond, but also something very grounded. This area that you were talking about, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's almost like you're taking that energy that you would use to create like a human, and you're just using that to like feed into your business and like build your life up. It's like you're giving birth to a business or like a creation instead of like creating a baby.
Yeah,
it's called sexual transmutation in Think and Grow Rich, that book that we were talking about. There's a whole chapter on it. Exactly. It's so interesting, man.
Yeah. That book is amazing, and it's difficult to believe in certain things, but I think, as you said, and I also know that because in certain periods of my life, I just started to believe. And when you believe, everything shifts. Everything. When you believe, you get in a flow that is totally different. You just get in a flow that, you can do all the things that you were not able to do before. If you compete for something and before you were losing, you start to win when you get in that flow. And that's all the belief that is behind that, in my opinion.
100%, man. 100%.